Hey, what is going on YouTube? You are back at TheReal PG for another NBA player prop video for today, Tuesday, February 28th. Before we get into the video, if I could please ask you guys to smash that like button. If you've not yet subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell button for the most up-to-date information on player props, player injuries, and any line movement in regards to today's slate. Before we get into the picks, I'd like to go over the quick links in the description. First one is going to be to the free Discord. Right now, the free Discord is about 1,500 people deep, talking all the sports that are applicable in this time frame. Slowly moving into MLB and off of the NBA. Exciting times as we're getting into the playoffs. Lots of good information flowing through this. People talking nonstop. Different plays, different ideas, different looks. Come check it out on your own time. See if it's something for you. Don't think it will disappoint. If you're curious about how we've been doing in here on a whole, come check out the Discord trophy shelf, and you're going to see nothing but green slips for days. You're going to see a lot of these same people over and over again because these are a lot of people who are in the Patreon, which is the second link. So the Patreon does have two tiers, the base tier and all access VIP tier, the difference being more or less the access to me. You'll get all of my slips for the day. All you need to do is ask. You can ask questions about yours. If you have a question on a play, if you say, hey man, I'm busy, I'm at work, I need you to DM me just your slips because I don't have time to look at anything today, I can certainly do that. Whatever the case may be, I will accommodate it in top tier. In the base tier package, you will get a first looks and a final plays with a lineup of both and a descriptive detailed write-up in the final plays, as well as just a very basic first looks information. So for example, yesterday's first looks, or the other day's first looks, just a very simple lineup with a couple names and props. When you get to the final looks, they get much more detailed in the script and the reasons for why I am taking the props, stats to back them, and so on. So if this is something that interests you guys, check it out. Again, you can come into the testimonials and see what people have to say about myself, the Patreon, the way it's run, etc. That way, take it from someone else who is paying to be in it, not myself. I think all the information you'll need to make your decision is in here. Currently was running a promo over at Thrive for free Patreon until the end of the month. Unfortunately, today is the end of the month and the promotion does expire today. So as of right now, we're working on a new promo for next month. But as of right now, if you do sign up over at Thrive Fantasy using promo code capital letters PG, you will get a 100% match on your deposit. And in the upcoming days, there will be additional promotions to go along with it. On top of that, if you do sign up today, there will be a new users only promotion for Anthony Edwards to score over 0.5 points. So signing up today will not only get your money doubled with promo code capital letters PG, but you will also get a free square for Anthony Edwards today. That being said, let's hop into the picks today, guys. So I've got two over here for you on Thrive, and the first one we're going to be looking at today is Jaren Jackson in a pretty good matchup against the LA Lakers. As far as his points and assists, we're going to be looking at over 16.5. So if we dig into the matchup a little bit and we look at the power forward position versus the LA Lakers, you'll see that not only are the points, but also the assists are, well, the points were a top 2 matchup, and the assists are a top 6 matchup at 5 per game and almost 30 points per game. So this is about 35 total points plus assists. We need about 45% of that out of Jaren Jackson. With his minutes, that should put him right on track as he is seeing just around 30 minutes per game against the Lakers. As you can see in this game logs, he has, with the points plus assists, fallen short in the most recent game with 12 points, no assist. Prior game, he did hit with 21 points, 1 assist. Game prior to that, he also did hook shy with 15 points and an assist. Game before that, he did fly over again with 25 and 0 assists. So a lot of it is coming in points, guys. And I do prefer the points, but over on Thrive, we do have just the points plus assist look. And the reason that I'm not afraid to take a points plus assist prop here, if we dig into props.cash, and look at what Jaren's been doing at home. As we said, the matchup for points as well as assists are green lights big time goes, and Jaren has hit this in 7 of the last 10 games coming from home. So in a matchup that has top 6 potential in both of these categories and a 7 of 10 hit rate, as well as 5 of the last 7, I think this is extremely safe. We dig into the other centers who have seen them recently in the PA lines. We just have 2 most recently, Kevon Looney with Golden State, who did go over his 9.5 prop with 11, and then you had Jonas Valanciunas, who did fall short. Also did have a Vegas line juice to the under, but he did fall short by 1.5, basically putting him on the hook. A little bit of fear with Jaren maybe landing on the hook today just based off the game logs and a lot of 15s and, questionable numbers, questionable minutes in the games. But if we look at the overall game, along what Jaren's been doing lately, so we're looking to cover this 16.5 number, except for in this game versus Denver most recently on 225. Outside of that, he has covered this line in Philly with 19, in Utah with 25 or 26, in Boston with 18, hooking shy against Minnesota with 16, against Chicago, cleared it with 25, cleared against Toronto with 18, cleared against Portland with 18, cleared against Indy with 29. Minnesota, again, falling short. So obviously Jaren is having some struggles with Rudy Gobert and company in Minnesota. But outside of that, it's been pretty clean, as he has hit it in the games prior with Golden State Warriors with 17, Sacramento with 21. And then we're now looking back into mid-January. So we're about a month back now before his second team that he's missed against, though. So I do see Jaren Jackson keeping up the strong momentum that he's had lately. If we dig into the Vegas line on Jackson, we can see what they have him slated for as far as points and as far as the assists go. We're going to have to look at them separately. So the assists for Jackson are just incredibly heavy, over 0.5 at minus 255. So they're expecting at least an assist today, at least one, as well as a minus 142 Vegas line to the over 15.5 points, putting us in a very, very good spot for an over 16.5 PA total on Jaren Jackson. So that will be the reasoning behind play number 1. Play number 2, we're going to be looking at over on Thrive is Luka Doncic, over 7.5 assists. So if we dig into this match a little bit deeper, let's go back in and we'll look at the Vegas line first. Scroll into this Dallas game versus the Indiana Pacers. They will be playing at home today. So if we scroll on the Luka and we look at his assist, heavy juice again at minus 142 to the over, plus 108 to the under on 7.5 assists. If we dig into what Luka has been doing lately, again, playing at home today, looking at just the assist, it is not the most appealing thing in the world, but the matchup is green lighted across the board here. Again, if we dig in over on Fantasy Pros and we take a look at the point guard assist versus the Indiana Pacers, scroll on down, see where they find it. It's about a middle of the road matchup, giving them about 7.5 per game on average. So nothing is really jumping off the page here. So it's like, well, where's this juice coming from? Well, if we dig into the past matchups with Luka versus Indy, so Luka has crushed this line in every game in the last 5 besides the one where he hooked short back in 2019. Versus 2019 Luka versus 2023 Luka, you've got a different breed of players. But most recently, seeing them about 2.5 weeks ago with 12 assists. Also, this will be back in the last season now, December of last season with 9 assists. Game prior, which was also in early 2021 with 12 assists again. game prior with 8, and then finally a hook short with 7 in 2019. So he has gone over this in 4 of the last 5. Exceptionally strong lines all together with 30, 27. Outside this one game, really, where he had 13, 12, and 12, the points have been insane with 30, 27, 36, 26. The assists have been there every game with 12, 9, 12, 8, and 7. But the assists seem to be the most consistent thing. They have the Vegas juice, and Luka should be drawing some double teams here, and I think that is the reason for why they're kind of juicing the assist prop more than other things, even though if we look at other props for Luka Doncic, a lot of things are juiced in his favor today. I mean, the rebounds at minus 126 to the over. The points are about even money, but really where we're sticking out is the assist. So based off the first looks, these are going to be the first 2 plays that we're going to be throwing into Thrive today. Jaren Jackson Jr. over 16.5 points and assists, and Luka Doncic over 7.5 assists. Heading over to Prizepicks, I've submitted only 1 slip so far. Got a late start to the research, but we're definitely going to be looking at the taco that is available first, and Trey Young at 22.5 points. So Trey Young is playing from home today. If we take a look at what Young is slated for, let's look at the Vegas line first and foremost, I guess. So if we scroll on down to Trey Young at 26.5 points, he's juiced over at minus 125 and under at minus 106. So the points to the over already have juice. Now let's drop this line from 26.5 to 22.5. Trey Young points at home, and let's drop this on down, 22.5. And that would put him at a 9 out of 10 hit rate. So in what world does he go under today in this matchup? I'm not really too sure. If we take a look at the matchup, not sure if I've gotten a chance to do this yet, but let's see, point guard, and we're looking at strictly points versus the Washington Wizards. And Washington is going to be somewhere around the top 10, top 12 at 23.91 points per game on average to the point guard. So a relatively decent matchup, but as Trey needs 4 points underneath the actual line, there should be no problem getting there. So that will be the first play we're going to lock in for sure, is Trey over the 22.5 points. Next, let's take a look at some of these same props. Like I said, I did like Jaren Jackson's points specifically over the PA, which we had to take over on Thrive. So let's dig into the points for Jackson. Again, let's head back to the Vegas line first. Jump into this game if I can find it here. There we go. And look at where Jaren Jackson's points are. I believe it was around a minus 140 something. Yep, minus 142 to the over 15.5 points. If we dig into the matchups, so Jaren has overall lately just been smashing this line. So besides the most recent Denver game with 7 points in only 21 minutes, not sure what too much would happen here if the game blew out or what, but the minutes are very, very low in comparison to most of these other ones. But this 15.5 line has been covered in every single game where he has played over 21 minutes. So here with 33 minutes versus Philly, 18 points, 31 minutes versus Utah, 26 points. Versus Boston, 20 minutes, and he hooked shy. Actually had a hook shy against Minnesota too. So as we talked about earlier, he did struggle with the PA against Minnesota. He struggled with the points in general, hooking shy in one and a basket shy in the other. Outside of those matchups, so we've got 18, 26, 24, 18, 18, 28, 17, 19, and then finally another miss against Phoenix back in January the 22nd, followed by another 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5 hits. So we're looking at a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of the last 15 games Jaren has gone over this line. If we look at it strictly versus the matchup today, versus the LA Lakers. There's LA Lakers. We'll see that Jaren has pretty much been there in every game. 33 minutes, the most recent game, struggled a little bit, got just 12 points, a little bit shy. Game prior also was no, this was not early this season. That was early last season. 21 points in 29 minutes. Game prior, hooking shy on 15, but this again, we're talking, different set of circumstances, a totally different Laker team as far as the makeup goes. If we dig into who is playing in these games, we're looking at a Laker team of Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, Avery Bradley, Malik Monk, and Dwight Howard. So barely pretty much unnoticeable LA Lakers team. Where on the other hand, you have Memphis, who has relatively stayed the same. We've lost Kyle Anderson, and Steven Adams is now out. But we have Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane, and John Morant, the staples of the team, who have been there. So if we dig into today's matchup a little bit further for Jackson and we look at just the points. At home for Jaren, they have been looking exceptionally strongly. We mentioned this Minnesota matchup that he struggled in. One game at home, one game on the road, and then most recently in Denver where he only saw 21 minutes. So if we filter out these minutes to over 21, 22, all we are missing are 2 hook games. So if we see Jaren going over 22 minutes, meaning Jaren stays out of foul trouble today, which is a big if, I guess, but if he manages to do that, which lately he has seemed to have enough time on the court to get over these 22 minutes and push him over this line. So outside of these 2 hooks, I don't have any fear of a miss here. The matchup is top notch. If we dig in for the power forward, I think we've already looked at this for Thrive, but the power forward points specifically against LA Lakers, second best matchup in the league at 29.94, almost double the prop. So I very much like Jaren Jackson to go over 15.5 points in a game with a relatively high total of 230 and not the worst spread at 9. A little bit of blowout risk, but the Lakers should be able to keep this one in touch, I think, and keep Jaren on the court long enough to get him over the 15.5 mark hump. So as of right now, we've got Trey Young over his points as well as Jaren Jackson over his. We've already talked about Luka Doncic and his over 7.5 points, but we're going to be looking at one more prop today, and that is going to be Alperen Sengun, and we're going to be looking at his over first half points and PRA. So if we dig into Sengun's game log here, let's look at the first half only. And this is just a generalized game. Actually, let's look in detail versus the team he's playing today. So we got Houston facing off with Denver today. Houston will be playing at home, so if we look in the most recent 2 matchups that were both this year, Sengun is covered in both these games with 10 points and 15 points, the line being 7.5, the PRA line being 14.5, covering it in points alone in 2 matchups ago, and easily going over with 17 in only 15 minutes prior. Outside of that, he does have a game from last season in March where he did also go over the PRA, but he did hook shy on the points. So the PRA is kind of the look I'm taking, but if we do look into the stats for Sengun and what he's been doing in the first half, the points do kind of stick out a little bit more so. And the reason we're going to be taking the first half line over the full game line is just due to blowout risk of 9. I think it was, let me just make sure, there's a couple games with a 9-point spread today, so there it's at 9.5 actually, so about a 9-point spread. But if we look, Sengun has covered this line in 9 of the 10 last games in points, 2 of the last 3 versus Denver. If we look at the first half PRA, he has covered it in 7 of the last 10, 4 of the last 6, and again he has covered this in 3 of the last 3 versus Denver. So I do feel strong about Alperen Sengun finally having an over prop today. Been on his unders for about the last week, but I do think if we go into the first half today, we should be able to get us there on both points or PRA, whichever you prefer. Again, the recency suggests points, but the history suggests the PRA. Either way you would like to go, I think is fine. I'm not too sure. I'm going to have to dig into this a little deeper and see what some other factors may be to help assess this decision. But nonetheless, I do want to be on some Sengun first half prop. So with that being said today, guys, we're going to go ahead and just, for the fact that I have locked in the PRA already, we will take the points on this lineup, and we will roll out with these 3 picks of the Trey Young taco over 22.5 points, Jaren Jackson over 15.5 points full game, and Alperen Sengun over 7.5 points first half. For tailing today, guys, I wish you the best of luck. Please gamble within your means. Until the next one, peace.